MacBook Air, and it's a no backlight. This is one of the. This is an A1466. With this ones, you can actually. So usually you shine a light at the back of from here, and you can see the write-up. I'm sure you guys can see the write-up there. So it says MacBook Air. However, we do not have a backlight. Try to increase the backlight, nothing. We've also tried, Peter also tried to do a PR reset, but nothing, no changes. Okay, so first thing first, let's take the back cover out, get an understanding of what you're dealing with. So with an issue like this one, you don't have to worry about not about the danger of plugging your charger to your machine. I mean, in this state, you can plug charger to your machine without having to worry about any potential damage. However, because the machine is on, I don't really see the need for us to plug the charger to it now. Okay, so back cover is out. This is a 2013-2014 MacBook Air, and that we can tell because of the JTech. And also, we can see here that the job has been it's been through a previous work. So I'm just going to disconnect the battery, uh, show you guys what's happening here. So this has been to a previous workshop. Yeah. So hmm. This is a critical section for the backlight, and I see they have worked here. The inductor is missing, which is sorry, the diode here is missing, which is let's quickly open up the board view. This is going to be an A20-3437. 3437. It's 3437. 34, 37, 34, 37, 34, 37. Otherwise, you can just search it. It's 0 dash 34, 37. Double dash 34, 37. Okay, here we go. And the diode that's missing is D7701. So um, that's not entirely that's kind of not going to be entirely why we don't have backlight. So first thing first, let us see what do we have. Do we have not boosting? First, before that, let's quickly confirm. Do you have a short on our backlight output? See that? Okay, we don't have a short on our backlight output. The next thing we want to do is we want to see what we have on our backlight output. That'll give us an idea. So this is a 30, this is a 2014. So the way it's gonna, so you get the fan will start, stop, and then the third time the fan will basically continue. Okay, so let's see what we have in our backlight output. Switch to voltage mode. Zero 0.9. Okay. So it's not even opening. Let's see what we have at diffuse. 8.6 on the other side. 8.6. Okay. 2 volt. 8.6. 8.6. Let's try again. Okay, so much work uh, I will need to do here. Let's quickly take the board out. Usually, when you are working on a device that has already been worked on, uh, sometimes it's easier. You just basically continue from where they stop, and other times it gets a little bit more complicated. Nonetheless, let's quickly see what we can do on this one. Okay, board is out. Put our shell aside. So on the other side, okay, the other side also we see that a backlight driver seem also to have also been tempered. I'm not sure. Let's just take that out. Hmm. Okay. Uh, okay. So let's put back the inductor that's missing. Keep saying inductor, the diode that is missing. Okay, there it is in place. Let's get our test screen. Right now we're not expecting to have backlight. We just want to see what it is that we have on our backlight output because the backlight driver it's not there, so we're not expecting to have backlight. But at least we want to see what we have on our backlight output. So we're not expecting to have backlight now because there'll be no boosting taking place. The driver, the chip to do that is G7701. That is not in place, which is that. However, I want to get an idea of what you have on our backlight output. So let's just grab a DC jack. So DC jack.
Can you give me the GCJ control over that setting? Yeah, down there. That machine, what's the session? Yeah. Give me the chip, please. Sure. Can you see that cable? Yes. Thanks.
What about the one that I use here? Huh? What happened to the one that I use here?
I think this one of it is on.
Let's see what we have in our backlight output now. We have image. You may not see it here because this is a test screen. It's got lines on it, but we use it mainly for backlight repairs. So let's see what we have an output. Okay, so now we have 8.5. That's good. Now we have 8.5 on output, which means so I'm just gonna open up our schematic to give you guys an idea of what's happening here. So this is 2015 20 this is a 2015 2017 schematic. However, you can use that also. It's the same thing. You can use it for 2013 2014. So let's go to U7701. U7701. 7701 is going to be the backlight output. So here it says LCD keyboard backlight driver. So that driver is basically what generates the backlight that you have on your LCD as well as your keyboard. Let's try to move it a little bit closer. So here it says LCD keyboard, LCD slash keyboard backlight driver. Now, if we come here, so on our page here we have a keyboard backlight connector, which is going to be J7715, and then you have E7, obviously E7701 is what we are basically dealing with. Now the reason why, so I'm just going to switch to, so here we measure PP5, we have 8.6 volt. So, and then I said, okay, yeah, that's that's fine, because that basically gives us exactly where we want to be, and then we can build up from there. Now, the reason why I say that is this. So if we look at the beginning of our circuitry, we have PP bus. It's going to go through F7700. Now, F7700 is a fuse. Now, so here, now this MOSFET here, this is a MOSFET. Obviously, it's gonna have the gate is it's gonna be controlled by Q7707, Q7707, and then which is basically, so that will work if EDP underscore backlight underscore EN signal and backlight platform reset L signal is present. If it's present, it will then allow so this is basically these two here, R7788 and R7789. It's basically it's gonna act more like a voltage divider, but the path to ground will be given the path to ground for, in order for this process to be complete, EDP on the EDP signal as well as backlight platform reset signal has to be present. Now, if these two are not present, um, this is not going to open. If it doesn't open, now the voltage that we get here, which is the voltage that comes from our fuse to Q7706, will just remain here, will not make its way out, which is its out is going to be 1, 2 at pin 1, 2, 5, and 6. Now, in order for this process to be complete, EDP and backlight platform reset L has to be present. Now, when it's present, then it can basically complete the process, which is basically to short the voltage, and then the R7786 will be able to now complete its way to ground. When that happens, and then the voltage here, it says LCD backlight EN division. Yeah, so there will be a voltage division here. So what would then happen is when that is lowered, when this is lowered, then what would then happen is the voltage that is on pin 4 will be able to make its way out, and then you have voltage, which you have 8.6 volt, because it's a MacBook Air at your pin 1, pin 2, pin 5, and pin 6. Now, if this is not opening, what you will get is you get 0 volt. So we did check. Now this needs to take place before you worry about boosting. So if that is not taking place, there will be no boosting, which is going to be done by U7701. Now you need the boosting to take place. The voltage that goes in that U7701 will make use of is it's around about 8.6 volt. However, the voltage that the screen needs to be able to for you to basically get backlight on your screen, you're looking at about around about 20 something voltage to 30 something voltage. Then the voltage output will vary depending on the set brightness of the screen. So the more brightness the more bright your screen is, the more voltage you will get on your backlight output. So currently we can confirm that this circuitry is working, which is this circuitry is working. Why? Because we have 8.6 volt on our backlight, 8.5, 6 volt on our backlight output. If the circuitry wasn't working, what we will have is we will have 0 volt on pin 1, 2, 5, and 6, which would then interpret having to have 0 volt. Let's quickly go to the yeah. So which would then interpret that we will have 0 volt on our backlight output. So good thing is we have 8.6 volt. The next thing we want to do is we want to now put back the the uh, the backlight driver that we took out. So two things that we noticed on the board. First thing was the this D7701 was not present on the board. We put that back, and then the backlight driver itself was basically installed a little bit. I would say it wasn't making proper communication. So what we want to do now is we want to put back the backlight driver, be taking taking into notice the orientation of the backlight, because orientation of the backlight driver, pin 1 has to be on top here. So let's just clean that up just to be sure that we're getting the orientation right. We are not sure if the backlight driver is still good, but we can try. Trying to get the orientation. I easily find the orientation by the marking on the top of the chip. So there should be a dot on one side of the chip which will indicate pin 1. I'm not 100% sure. Orientation looks nonetheless. Let's try that. Okay. Uh, Not 100% sure that the orientation is fine. Just try it, see what we get. Otherwise, we'll just replace it with something confirmed. Let's see. Seems like the orientation is completely wrong if it's not starting. But let's just confirm that we have voltage and VDC in. Yeah, so orientation is completely wrong. So uh, let's flip it. Otherwise, we can just replace it. Yeah, let's just replace it. Let's just see what's happening here.
And on a backlight driver, you can charge it to even 2015 machine.
MacBook Air, yes. Let's get another one. So we will we will be using a backlight driver from a 13 inches A1278 MacBook Pro because the backlight drivers are the same thing. 20, 2011, 2012. Let's see what you can find. So 15 inches. Yeah, this is the one that he brought for us to use. Please, we you can also use a 15 inches 2011 2012 A1286. That also will work. Let's just try get another one. Okay, just to make it quicker, let's get from let's grab one from the MacBook Air board. Make the process quicker. Let's grab this. Okay, that's installed. See what we have on our backlight output in terms of the diode mode, red put to ground, and backlight 04. Okay. So let's see what we have. It's expected to have a fan spin, starts again and then stop, and then a third time continues. Okay, so there we go. So we now have backlight. So two things that we really had to do, even though this section of the board looks really messy, the two things that we had to do was to replace V7701. So the previous V7701 was not was definitely not good, and then also missing was D77. Let's just see. So also missing from the board was D7701. So um, these were the two components that were missing for the backlight circuitry, and yeah, basically had to replace both, and we have a working backlight. Okay, so I'm just gonna use this client's screen, but before we do so, we'll clean the board, and then we use the client's screen just so that you guys see that we have Apple logo. Okay. You only need to connect the string as well as the DC jack. That's all we need to test the backlight. Okay, screen is connected. We have a fine screen. What's going on? Okay, we have a fine screen as expected. Second and then third, we should have starting board. Expecting to have an Apple logo. That's it. That's an Apple logo, guys. Yeah, this is a completed repair. Uh, we don't really we do not necessarily need the machine to go to desktop. You guys can see that we have Apple logo and we have backlight and an Apple logo, and then we have a loading bar. So the backlight repair is complete. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you.